your main event. Introducing the hosts of Wrestling with Freddie, Jeff Dye, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a great wrestling day. Of course, every day is a great wrestling day if you're a wrestling fan, because you can listen to this show any day you want. And with me, as always, is my fantastic co-host, Mr. Jeff Dye. How are you, senor?
Yeah. Feeling good, brother? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm a little tired today. I got kids and dogs and not a lot of sleep over the weekend. We record these on Mondays. You guys listen whenever you listen. But there's a lot of wrestling stuff, and we'll get into the news first, and we're going to do it right now. This is something that Triple H has wanted for a very long time. He wanted it or mentioned it when I was there, so at least that long. So 2007, I think, was the first time I heard him say Raw would be better if it was 2 hours, and it will be 2 hours from now until they at least go to Netflix, and then we'll see if they're under time restraints or not. I know I don't watch a lot of TV, but I know a lot of their episodes aren't the same amount of minutes. Some of them aren't even close to the same amount of minutes. So I'm speculating here, we might be in a situation where Raw will be at least 2 hours every Monday come January on Netflix. But there might be some episodes that are jam-packed full of a lot more, and maybe it goes all the way up to 3 or 2 hours and 21 minutes or 2 hours and 37 minutes. Maybe they won't be under the same kind of time restraint schedule-wise in that regard, which could be kind of cool. Jeff, what do you think about that idea?
I'm fine with whatever. I always have an opinion, but the truth is, whether they make wrestling 1 hour or 12 hours, we're going to watch it. So I'm happy.
Well, AEW's TV deal has a bit more clarity, and this is good news for cord cutters like myself, people who are hosed because we have things like YouTube TV that won't give me the East Coast live feed. It's some BS, by the way. I can't even cheat the zip code. It knows when you're lying, Jeff. But it's going to be streaming on Max at the exact same time. And you know what I do have? I have Max. So I'll be able to watch wrestling live once again come January instead of having to wait 3 hours and avoid talking to all my wrestling friends so I don't know anything that's about to happen. And I can't wait for it. Are you excited to get to watch wrestling at 5 p.m. instead of having to wait till 8 p.m. since we're West Coasters?
This is also consistent with what I talk about. It wouldn't matter if they put it at 9 a.m. or 5 p.m. because I don't watch any wrestling live anyway. So I'm always cramming it late at night when I get back from the comedy clubs. I haven't watched live wrestling since I was in junior high.
Oh my gosh, dude. See, I love it when it's on at 5 p.m. because my dinner eats family early. No, my family eats dinner early. I do most of the cooking in this house. And so I usually am cooking and prepping stuff while professional wrestling's on. And I'm so accustomed to it. And we eventually cut the cord and made this changeover. And it's been so weird not getting to have my wrestling on. So now I have to wait a day and I'll do it the next day, when I'm cooking. But I have to wait a whole day. I have to stay off social media. I follow a lot of wrestling stuff, which I guess I could just not do that. But it's not as
you
fun.
Don't want to do that either. Yeah. The good thing about following all this wrestling stuff is it keeps you in the loop. That's very exciting. You get to see wrestling all the time. But then if you don't watch it live, you're going to see a lot of spoilers. The only ones that bother me is when a wrestler comes back. I don't mind knowing who won or lost because I'm I'll still see the match. It's not really a spoiler for me who won or lost. But when someone comes back and I get all these texts you won't believe
Jack, oh my God.
Gosh dang it. Yeah, I get so mad about that. But other than that, I don't. It's fun. You want to follow all the things,
And our last bit of business, please keep an eye on our socials on Instagram and wherever else we are. You guys can do our Q&A, which is questions and answers, Jeff, for those who don't know what Q&A means. And you guys can ask the questions and we give the answers. That's how this works. We do it once a season. You guys can get your questions read if they're good enough, maybe even if they're sucky. We'll pick a couple sucky ones just to have fun. All right, dude. Are you ready to talk about wrestling or do you want to talk about more nonsense?
I'd like to talk about wrestling or nonsense.
Okay.
Just love talking.
We'll talk nonsense. So a bicyclist crashed on my street yesterday.
Oh, are you serious?
And, yeah. And I wasn't that sad. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them on this street. And they drive pretty wild. They run all the stop signs. They'll take up the whole road. And I drive an old car, so I drive slow, and I'm good to the cyclists, even though they're annoying. I'm like, hey, guys, stay safe out there, and I don't honk at them or anything. But most of my neighbors are pretty pissed off. and hate all these Lance Armstrongs on their Schwinns. Like, they just want to kill them. And I'll hear horns go by. So you might even hear them on our, well, you won't, because our producer's such a straight up sound gangster. You don't hear anything but our voices. But I'll hear like horns honk and people yelling, "Oh, you motherfucker, I'll kill you." Like it's not a good, healthy relationship. Well, one of them wrecked, and it was not just outside my house, but I live in like a canyon, so it echoes. So I was up here playing some Red Dead Redemption 2 while the kids were at school, just, hunting, looking for all the birds in the game, that kind of stuff. And I just hear, "Oh, fuck, plan." And I was like, yo, that was a car that for sure hit that guy. Like, it wasn't just a crash, like a car fucking hit a bicyclist. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm looking out the window. I can't see him. I can just hear the guy screaming, "Help, help." Right. So I go outside. I'm trying to be a good Samaritan. I go outside. I'm not that sad that he's down, because again,
you just kind of want to see it. You want to get over him.
Yeah, but I'll help the guy out if he needs help. I'll help the guy out. So I get outside. There's already someone out there. They're calling the cops because his phone doesn't have reception, or the ambulance, whoever they called. But the cops got there first, and that's when I found out it was in fact a car, and they just took off, bro, just to straight up hit and run and just piece this dude out. I was like, yo. I'm telling you, man, I say my neighbors, it's not like I know them, but the people who live in my neighborhood are crazy. They drive down this street at like 55 miles an hour. I drive much slower. I drive 76 280Z if you guys are curious. It does not go fast. It looks super fast. And in the 70s, it could
go fast.
Yeah, if I put a friggin' Corvette engine in there. But I just take it to the grocery store.
For those, without doxing you and letting people know where you live on Dead Man's Curve. The street to go to your house is literally the longest, no shoulder. Like it's not a great bicycling road.
No, it's not a good walking road either.
It'd be a perfect bicycling road if there weren't allowed to be cars on it. And it'd be a perfect driving road if there weren't allowed to be bikes on it. But like, it's a super long road. And if you're trying to get home from work or something like that, like, it's not a road you want to drive slow down. It takes forever to get up there to get to like anyone who lives on that street.
And a lot of people have sports cars, so they want to like, and they want to, do all that. And then they see the bikes and they're like, okay, you motherfuckers. And those cyclists are like, dude, please don't kill us. But then there's some that ride like 3 or 4 wide, and it pisses people out. There's signs everywhere.
It pissed me
single
off.
File, ride in single file.
It pissed me off for sure, dude. I've got my car. I don't know how much horsepower it has, but it's got more horsepower than a bicyclist. What is a bicyclist? 0 horsepower. It's being powered by a peanut butter sandwich. Like, get off the road. You're not a car. You don't have the horsepower to be on this road.
Yo,
and maybe ride one horse.
Water. Yo, it's powered by peanut butter sandwiches. Is that what you fucking said?
Yeah. Your car, they're not equal. A car and a bike shouldn't be on the same place. It's ridiculous.
All right, dude. We're going to talk wrestling. The men and women that are also powered by peanut butter sandwiches, professional wrestlers. All right. So for the picks, we're just going to put this out there right now. All in all, Jeff and I didn't do horribly, but we could have done better. And for that, we're sorry. But we did go 3 for 5. We were right on different matches. But if you pay attention to our producer, as most of you do, if you're smart, you do. And if you're dumb, you don't. Our producer went 5 for 5. 5 for 5, and even sort of picked the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson thing. So did my buddy Mac, by the way. He knew Dwayne was coming. He thought he was going to interfere in the match, though. 5 for 5.
Our producer hangs out. Our producer hangs out with Dave Meltzer and all these guys, and they know what's in the script. So I'm not giving our producer any credit. He didn't guess this.
Oh my God. The slander, the absolute slander that has just come out.
Alex loves it.
Alex, I will be your witness in court. Although I did say once that I would lie for Jeff in court, so maybe I would lie. Maybe you don't want me as a witness, Alex. You
also, Freddie, yourself. Are you willing to do that? Have you been with Alex at all times?
That's true. He could also be Batman. All right. The match opened with Hell in a Cell, and I got this match wrong. And I promise you this, everybody, I will never get a CM Punk match wrong again because I figured it out. He may lose a battle, but he's never going to lose the war. Not so long as there's blood pumping through his veins. So he gave up one. Once he gives up the one, the other two are going to be his no matter what. He did it with Max. He did it with Drew. He's done it with pretty much everybody. The one time that I think it's not going to happen again is when it does happen with Seth. But every other war he's going to be, Seth Rollins that is. Every other war he's going to be in, he's going to win. He's going to lose one match and he's going to win two. And that's just the way it's going to be. And I'm never going to get it wrong again. And when he does Seth, I'm going to get that right too. You mark my words. But Jeff, I think you got it right because you picked CM Punk.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that looked
How
like
about this match though? Yeah, I got
the
the finish right. The finish was 50-50. I just, but here's the thing. Did you like all the blood?
Okay, normally I don't, okay? Because I get kind of like, I'm a dad now, and it's like I'm old, and so I'm like, why do they have to bleed? You could just have a great artistic match instead. And I'm normally that guy. But in this case, and in this regard, I was like, yo, like they hate each other so much. Like there has to be blood. Like he made it too personal. He started talking about the dude's wife and his dog and the bracelet, the match about a bracelet. We joke, but they made you care about something that wasn't a title match. So they succeeded huge in that regard. And so when the blood came, it was sort of organic in the story because CM Punk said in his promo, like, I'm going to make you bleed and you're going to beg me for mercy to stop. And so watching the match and watching promises be fulfilled, or most of the promises being fulfilled, it was organic, and it wasn't just, hey, here's a blade, cut yourself, or, here's a chair that I'm going to split you open with. It was, no, dude, you need to be split open. And I thought it was a lot of blood on Drew's head, but I thought it was a necessary thing. And I thought it was really, really cool, dude. This match was awesome. And they freaking opened the show with it, which is so hardcore.
It was fun to watch. Very, very good. I also felt a little, when I was young, I wanted the most blood you could get, but now as I'm getting older, I don't know if I enjoy it as much. Yeah. And it's just like, it just doesn't, I don't know why. I think when I was younger, I had such a bloodlust because I thought that meant it was real. Whereas now I know that it isn't real. It's just another thing they do. So now it doesn't do as much for me, I'd say.
Here's a weird question that just popped in my head. Is Drew McIntyre underrated?
I think so.
You do he is, right?
Yeah.
Since the pandemic, I think he may be the most underrated wrestler on the WWE roster. I don't think he's ever gotten the props he deserved for being a COVID champion, which in hindsight is a much trickier and more complicated thing than I think anyone realized at the time. To win in front of nobody is friggin' horrible. I almost cursed. I was really trying to say the F word there, and my brain would not let me do it. Yeah, man. Like I don't mean underrated as far as his skills, because I think everybody's like, yo, that dude fool can wrestle. But everything he kind of represented as a champion during COVID, and his ability to turn that character into this like selfish heel that is willing to permanently injure someone. Like he turned into such an asshole, and he's been so good on the mic, better than he's ever been. And he's always been all right. I mean, when he first started, he was green, obviously, but I mean, in this incantation of his character, I just feel like we don't talk. I mean, maybe we talk about him enough. I don't know if we do, man, but I don't hear other people talking about him as much as us. Maybe that's what it is. Drew McIntyre's kind of the shit, bro.
I think he deserves more. I think that's a fair assessment. He's very, very good, but we spend more time yammering about dudes in the bloodline than we do about Drew McIntyre. So, who would you rather have for your federation? Would you rather have Solo Sikoa, or would you rather have Drew McIntyre?
I love that you mess his name up every time.
Well, Solo Sikoa. Would you rather have him?
Yeah.
Or would you rather have Drew McIntyre? Yeah.
Drew.
But we spend more time talking about him.
Solo's new and fresh. I think maybe that's why we do. We're going to have a weekly Drew McIntyre segment, Jeff. So I'd like you to prepare
give him his
something
flowers.
Drewish every single week. It's the Drewish segment. All right. I'm done throwing flowers at you, Drew. But you're awesome, man. And that match was awesome, and I thought you should have won. Anyway, the WWE Women's Championship match between Nia Jax and Bayley. And this was a hell of a match. She was beating Bayley's ass the first 5 minutes of this. Like, just getting slammed and smashed everywhere. This one, your boy got correct. I picked Nia. You know our producer. Well, you know what he picked because he was perfect. And Jeff got a little emotional. I
picked Bayley.
Did you like the match?
No, not really. I think Bayley. I think Bayley doesn't do much for me either. But Bayley, I at least
much hate.
It's not a very positive review of this match.
I appreciate your honesty. We don't have to agree on every match. I actually liked the match. I didn't think it needed the attempted cash in. I thought that should have been saved for the very, very end. And maybe Nia would have been more beat up or something. I don't know. But I guess it worked. I guess I like the whole thing. I'm just trying to find something wrong. I really enjoyed it, man. All right. Well, you got it wrong. Ha 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 ha. And I got it right. So hardy har again. I mean, our producer, perfect Alex. Everybody loves
Alex.
All right.
Hanging out with Meltzer. That's all he does.
Liv Morgan. Title defense against Rhea Ripley with claustrophobic Dominic Mysterio in a shark cage. Let me tell you something about Dominic Mysterio that you guys might not know. Maybe I haven't said it before, but he's a victim. All right? He's a victim. And Rhea Ripley's not this angel that you think she is. She knew about his fear of tight spaces. She knew about his claustrophobia. And what was the first thing she did when she could get a championship match? She's going to put him in a closed, tight space and lock him in there. Is that a nice thing to do? No. Whatever happened to forgive and forget? I thought that's what baby faces did. I thought that's what nice people do. They move on. They don't hold crazy grudges and lock people in. Once again, proving that maybe Dominic's not such a piece of crap. Maybe he's a sweetheart who's being taken advantage of by crafty women. You guys ever been taken advantage of by a crafty woman?
Daily, my friend. Sure have.
A lot of crafty women in LA, so I believe that.
Unreal.
That's why you got to get out of LA and date, some normal people, Jeff. Just normal people. That's all. I got the one normal actress there is, and nobody else gets to have her. So
thanks for hogging them all, Freddie.
All right. This was another right answer for your boy, Freddie. I thought that Dominic would escape, have something directly to do with the finish. I almost even called the finish. I did not know that Raquel Rodriguez was going to run in, that she made a backdoor deal with Liv Morgan and Dominic, that she's like, yo, I got your back. And when shit goes down, I'm going to go down with it. And it looked like the ref kind of saw and then was like, yeah, do your thing, girl, which is weird. I'll ref snitch y'all. I'll ref snitch all you refs straight up. When you miss 3 counts, there was a missed 3 count too, by the way. That was on SmackDown. But anyway, Raquel Rodriguez came in, and this was weird. The crowd didn't really vibe with it. And I think it's tough to do pay-per-view angles like that with someone who we've seen before, but hasn't had the opportunity to get all the way over yet. Like, it worked with Solo at the Clash at the Castle because no one had ever seen him before. It was brand new, but we've seen Raquel and we like Raquel, but she hasn't been on television long enough for her to be over with everybody and everyone to know who she is. So when she came in and like did her business on Rhea, the crowd was kind of like, huh, instead of, you dirty son of a bitch. Like they didn't go after her in either direction, which sucks because we're actually we like Raquel. We've talked about her on this podcast before. We both like her a lot because she's big and strong and doesn't look like, a skinny Barbie doll that every actress and professional wrestler and pop star on earth looks like. Like she looks like a big, strong woman that can beat your
believable
ass and deserves to have a title around her waist. Because like, who's going to beat someone that big? Rhea Ripley could. But anyway, it was just weird. And I felt like a moment like that would be better served on Monday Night Raw on TV so that you can get her in front of people's eyeballs, build her up. And then when you want to have some surprise turn at a pay-per-view, it works a little bit better. But it didn't seem to play to me, Jeff. I know you like her, but did you like this?
No, there was a lot of things that happened. I like that you just said that I agree with all of it. But the thing with like Raquel didn't get a big pop, which I think started playing in her mind. Like, why isn't this going better? Like, I feel like even she's thinking, why aren't they doing it? 2, it's hard to get that big pop when you're turning on easily the most famous female wrestler, the most over female wrestler of the last few years. So like also they're probably not going to pop because you're like, who's doing this to Rhea? Like we all love Rhea Ripley. So I think that was also part of it. Like, wait, we liked that she's beating up Dom. We like this spot. And now a person that we kind of think that is that Raquel, like we can't tell. It was just kind of all like kind of murky. And then she did that powerbomb move, which I don't know the name of it, but even that was a little clunky. Like she was like struggling to get, like they were like trying to time it together. It looked like Rhea was helping.
Yes, I know what you mean. I saw that.
Yeah, and I actually liked that move a lot, but it felt like a little
my daughter said
when she was trying to do it.
My daughter said, "What are they doing?" Like it even took her out of it. She was like, "What?" Yes, I remember that now. Yeah, it
looked like they were cooperating for which that takes you out of the wrestling story, but. Love Raquel. I hope that this will be a big spot for her. Does this mean that she's going to be with Liv Morgan and Dom and them now?
Man.
All right, that's cool. They're growing in numbers. But also, I think that would be a good big woman versus big woman match. Rhea Ripley and
you like
Raquel.
it when the bigsters go at each other.
I love meat. So I'm excited about it. I also wanted to compliment them on the spot of Dominic Mysterio falling from the cage.
Yeah.
I watched it over and over trying to figure out how they did that. I was like, he's going to break his ankle off the way he fell. But I guess that the thing is around his waist and it just looks like it's around his foot. But they made it look so convincing. It was very, very good.
Way to wreck how they did it for me, man. I don't...
Well, you know how they do all this stuff.
I didn't know. I didn't watch that stuff. I don't know how the magic trick gets done. You probably wreck all David Blaine's tricks too. How do you throw the card through the window, bro? Go ahead, wreck it for everybody.
Easy,
I'm sure you looked it up on YouTube.
It's a magic card, and David Blaine's he's a witch. So that's how it's all done.
Dirty witch.
It's a witch.
Yo, Vince made me, or tried to make me direct this segment on a Friday Night SmackDown when it was on the UPN or the CW, whatever it was. It shared a show called Mysteries of the Magicians or something like that. And this masked magician would expose tricks, other people's tricks. His name was Val Valentine. He got exposed, so I'll say his name. And Vince was like, yeah, you're going to shoot this segment. And I was like, man, fuck that. Like, I don't want to know how the tricks are done, and that guy's a dick. Like, he's exposing magic, he's not doing magic. He's like, well, you have to or he's like, no, you have to do it. And I was like, fine. And I told another writer, I was like, yeah, you have to do this segment. I'm gonna just oversee you, let me know when it's done. I didn't even look at the shit when it was finished. I was like, yeah, it looks great, man, put that on TV. So if it sucked, that was my fault, guys, sorry. Anyway. A random 2009 SmackDown that somebody's still pissed off about. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'm sure there's someone out there that's pissed off about her.
The easiest match of the night to predict, Jeff. Everybody got this right. If you got it wrong, I feel bad for you guys. If you got this wrong, you're just such a scrub. But it was Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, the sexiest Irishman you've ever known. These guys are total studs. Both of them are so friggin' awesome. Both of them deserve to wear gold. Both of them have worn gold. I hope both of them get to wear gold again. I'll watch these fools fight a few more times, but it seemed like it was Damian Priest being finished with the Judgment Day. It had a very final kind of thing to it, but you never know. They could come back and he could cause more trouble and they could fight again because the match was great. I don't do stars for matches. I just know that I really liked it and I liked the story. I love Damian Priest. I thought him losing the title was premature. And then when I saw the story that they had for him, I was like, nope, they got it right. Gunther should have the belt, and Damian Priest is not lost a step, and everything is awesome. And I really applaud their storytelling with this, not just the wrestlers, but their creative team as well, man. Shout them out and when they do good stuff. But I love the match. I know you did too. You love these guys, and this is your style.
I loved everything they did. It was fun. It feels like a pack of wolves turning on a guy.
Wolves.
It gave me flashbacks to when the whole 205 Live locker room jumped Enzo Amore in the ring. They all took turns doing their thing.
I think they genuinely like that too.
Oh, for sure. It gave me like a little flashback to that, but it was great. I think there was a story that was well told. It was awesome. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Damian Priest. That's what I'm more curious about. Is like, dude's a star. He's one of these guys. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with him. Give him his flowers.
A quick transition, Jeff. How did you like the 2024 Crown Jewel Championship, where the WWE champions, the Universal and the Heavyweight, are going to beef it out for the beefiest of all belts? I'll tell you this before you answer. Sarah, my wife, thought it looked pretty cool.
Really?
And I'll let that influence you if it does.
I think it looks cool too. I'm into it. These Crown Jewel things, I thought it was something I would be able to only have to deal with once and then it's over. I wouldn't have to ever do this. But it's really become a part of the WWE zeitgeist.
I didn't dig it. And Sarah was like, why don't you like it? I was like, I don't know. It just looks cartoonish.
Interesting. I think cartoonish is probably why I like it.
Yeah.
I'm like a child. Yeah, I mean, it is. I know. I love belts. There's just so many good belts. I love, like, wrestling is so good about making so many.
There's always
cool,
room for another championship.
It also feels like a belt they would make on, remember that old Nintendo 64 game, WrestleMania 2000? With the green. It's got the green and I don't know, it just feels kind of like something from that. I don't know. It feels cartoony. It feels old, and I love cartooning. I love old.
All right, dude. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu and Solo, as Jeff Dye would say, Sequoia, because he's as big as a tree. Tough dudes. Big story. Jacob Fatu is such a beast, man. They call him the werewolf. I don't think he looks like a werewolf. I just think he looks like a stud. Right. It is a good name. It is. But man, like his face is sick. His body's he's not like jacked or shredded if you haven't seen him, but his body just looks like a big badass guy that could kick your ass. He's just totally believable. And he beat asses in this match. They didn't come out with it, but still, man, it was that dude. I don't know if he's going to be a heavyweight champion, like a world champion. He'd have to be able to talk on the mic, but they got to do something with Jacob Fatu in this whole bloodline thing. Like maybe one day he's the head of the bloodline. I don't know if he can ever talk. I didn't know if Solo would be able to, and he can. So you never know with guys, but I thought he kind of stole the match, Fatu, and in every moment, and he was in a lot of that friggin' match. What did you think?
I agree. He's very explosive, which is what I think people connect to, like in wrestling. Obviously, you want the story. Obviously, you want things to like play nicely, but certain guys, like, they hit a move and you're like, that just felt like different. And I feel like he's got a very explosive kind of thing. Maybe it's because he's young, or maybe it's because of adrenaline. Maybe it's because, I don't know what it is, but he has this extra kind of thing that's great. It's fun to watch.
This was the only match I was wrong on that I got pissed off about, that I was pissed that you guys got right. And I was like, what the fuck? I have so many reasons why they should win. Reason number 1, reason number 2, The Rock, reason number 3, like I had all these like justifications, and then I'm watching, I'm just like, well, they don't care about my justifications. I'm just wrong.
Well, but I got pissed. You almost went back on your pick.
I did.
You almost reversed it.
I convinced myself with my bullshit. That's all that happened.
The Rock came back again.
You smell. That's my Rock impression. All right.
Very good.
It's also my Dumbledore impression. You just do it with a British accent. We're going to get into a listener review from Braves Fan 07. Braves Fan 07. I'm a Dodgers fan, so we sort of have beef, but I'm not like a beefy guy, so we can be cool if you want. Here we go. More WWE stories. Hey, Freddie, I love the podcast, but I would like you once or twice that you go back to stories like when you worked at WWE, like you did in season 1. I will definitely try more. Sometimes Jeff says something that reminds me of a story, and then I communicate that, but I will try to do more of that. So it's really Jeff's fault for not saying things that are reminding me of my time when I worked there. So if you could send those complaints to Jeff's personal social media stuff, like his Twitter or Instagram, or both, to make sure he sees it, then that helps me out, which helps out the show. And Jeff's very sorry for failing me as a podcast partner.
How long did you work at WWE, Freddie?
I worked there almost a year the first time, and then like 6 months the second time.
All right.
So I only have so many stories, but there's more stories. I was going to say,
you can't just tell like everything. Some of the stuff is, personal or private. You can't do, you must have told a bunch already.
Here, I'll tell the private ones. So one time, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Everybody stay tuned for Unsanctioned Thursday, where we get into the private stories. No, we're also going to talk some AEW. And if, stories pop in my head, I'll try to throw those out there. Once again, it's Jeff's fault. And on behalf of Jeff, I'm Freddie Prinze Jr. And this is Wrestling with Friends.
We love you.
This has been a production of iHeart's My Cultura Podcast Network. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.